I grew up in Northwest Indiana, so not too far from Chicago. Pretty much consider myself a Chicago person from the beginning. My parents divorced when I was 10 years old. So that was my first experience with divorce. And probably uniquely so, I have three older siblings. We thought divorce was one of the best things that happened to us because the household we lived in before my parents separated was not a happy house. And once they separated, went into their own homes, and we got situated, we all said collectively, this is what it's supposed to be like. Parents are happy, households are calm. We had much better experiences after that. So that was, for us, later in life, what we would say a monumental experience. I grew up in, like I said, Hammond, Indiana. Always did well in school, valedictorian of my high school, went on to a small college in the middle of Indiana, and then really my senior year of college, I was an economics major. I was doing a banking internship with Bank One in Indianapolis, and it was boring. And I knew then, I'm not gonna be a banker. This is not what I was set out to be. I knew I wanted to help people, but I didn't know how that quite translated yet. So one of the other interns was applying to law school. And he said to me, "Did you ever consider going to law school?" I thought, oh, I don't know, maybe. And then I just really thought about it and thought, you know what, this could be a good fit for me. Again, wanting to help people, but not sure what that looked like yet. So I started applying to law school, got into DePaul in Chicago, and really loved it. And that's kind of where, in the middle of law school, I figured out, well, family law is probably a good fit for me. So that's how I got to be a divorce lawyer. I never looked back. I think Schiller DuCanto Fleck stands apart because we have any type of lawyer, any type of specialty, any type of nuance, complexity, we can address it. So we are a large firm serving many different counties, sometimes even outside the state of Illinois. We have a breadth of knowledge that I think is unparalleled to any other firm. And amongst the lawyers, there are people who are great at tax, great at financial planning, great at litigation, great at mediation, great at collaborative law. Whatever you need, we can service you as a law firm. And I think that's what makes us different than any other firm that's out there. In terms of maintaining the legacy, the legacy to me is about, the firm has like a family relationship. And so for me, moving from a large law firm that had 2 or 3 practicing family law attorneys to a law firm that had 40 to 45 practicing family law attorneys, it was great because now you had a whole wealth of knowledge available to you, people to work with on various cases. There's some people who are strong in financial cases, some are strong in custody cases, all over the board. So you had that wealth of knowledge available. The Schiller DuCanto Fleck, I think, family is that we are all help one another out. That's kind of the legacy of the firm. We are all very smart people. We all have our strengths in what we do. And so carrying that legacy forward, I think, is, I won't want to say easy, but I think it's an easy task because of the family nature of the firm. It was built strong. It's going to continue being strong. We look out for one another. So I think that'll continue going forward. Changes in 2020 with COVID. There's obviously been a lot of getting out of the courtroom, and now virtually everything is done on Zoom or the equivalent of Zoom. From courtroom proceedings to mediation to, preparation sessions with your client or experts or whatever the case may be. And I think some of that is actually going to move forward, and we'll continue doing that because it makes sense. We used to get in our car, drive for an hour, get to a meeting, and now you're kind of like, do we need to do that when we can just, hit the button on Zoom, we can share a document, we can talk collaboratively, we can prepare for mediation. We don't all have to get into a room and be together. But I also think in the future, there's probably going to be some shift to go back to in-person type settings as well. I've had some clients in this year, even though it's been difficult to get together in person, we have done some mediation or arbitrations in person because they feel like they need to be there doing it rather than to be on a camera doing it. And there's just some of a personal aspect of that that I think you can't replace completely by Zoom, as good as it is. In terms of the courtrooms, I mean, I've been mostly doing court appearances by Zoom, but I have done a couple in person since COVID started. Be interesting to see what happens in the courtrooms, because I think the easier court calls can be done via Zoom. So I think that will probably carry forward, but it's really difficult to do a trial by Zoom when you're putting on witnesses and have documents and have a lot of information to go through. It's possible, but it's not quite the same. So I think we'll probably see some migration back towards evidentiary hearings, trials happening back in the courtroom. In terms of where women have come in the practice, I mean, from when I started practicing about 25 years ago to where we are now, it's been a huge shift. I remember being in the courtroom as a young woman and being mocked and being cursed and being ridiculed and not being taken seriously, and kind of feeling like you had to fight your way through some of that stuff, to now being respected and to being treated more equally. I still think there are some people who maybe don't treat you equally, but those are fading away. So we've come a long way in terms of women being respected and taken seriously. And I think actually in family law, we could be at the point, I haven't counted the numbers, but we could be at the point where there might be more women than men. At least we're equal in terms of the number of people, I would say, but it's definitely becoming a much more woman-influenced practice area.